Today, we're going to dive into a story that I think so many of us will connect with on a really deep level. It's about feeling like you're on a different timeline, about the weight of trauma, and the often unseen journey of healing. To start, I want to share the words that brought us here today. Sometimes I feel like I'm behind in life and that there's no long-term meaning beyond my current age. I'm 29, but my childhood and my mid-20s were filled with trauma, abuse, violence, and abuse. I've spent the last few years trying to get my mental health back on track. Still, I feel drained and vulnerable. I have a hard time taking care of myself, but I do it because I'm my own support. Some time ago, I went on a date with a man who said something that left a deep and traumatic mark on my mind. He told me that I had wasted 20 years of my life, and that after 30, everything was different, that the most energetic age I was supposed to live was past, and that the body after 20 was no longer young for life. I know that this isn't entirely true, but his words keep coming back to me and causing anxiety that affects my self-esteem. I have no material achievements. I only have myself, who has lived half my life in fight or flight mode. I have received comparisons from my mother to other people my age who are ahead, and yet I know who I am. I believe in my abilities enough to know that when I start, I can catch up. But I am not competing with anyone. I'm trying to get back to myself, to get my energy and strength back. I am tired, and I am just dedicating my energy to taking care of myself, because when a body has lived for a long time in survival mode, it is difficult for it to return to its normal vital functions and develop. I used to take it personally when someone underestimated my place in life. Today, I know that I had my reasons, invisible to others, for being where I am. I wish I lost faith in myself less often. I wish I could be kind to myself when someone else isn't. I wish I could accept my age as a natural part of life and adapt more easily in a world that often denies the real and turns normality into a source of fear and middle age into an imaginary limit to life, success, and attractiveness. Please share your experiences and opinions that might bring comfort. I just want to sit with that for a moment. And to the person who wrote this, and to anyone listening who feels that story in your own body, let's be incredibly clear. What you're describing, that isn't weakness. It's not a flaw. It's the mark of a long battle. It's the exhaustion of a survivor. And that right there is the most important thing to get. When your entire system, your brain, your body, is just trying to get through a constant state of threat, well, that's a full-time job. Survival uses up everything you've got. It is an all-consuming investment, and because of that, it can never, ever be wasted time. So let's talk about the pain here, because a huge part of it comes from those specific wounding words that were spoken. These words can get in our heads and echo our deepest fears of being left behind. So let's really take them apart and look at what's going on. Yeah, just seeing these words laid out, you can feel how heavy they are, right? They sound like facts, like some kind of biological law. But are they really? I think it's time we challenge that assumption. And here's the thing. The idea that your life just falls off a cliff after 30, that isn't a biological truth. It's a cultural myth. It's a script we're handed, and it's usually delivered with zero empathy, completely ignoring the reality of someone's personal journey, especially a journey through trauma. This brings us to a much healthier and, frankly, a much more accurate way to see those years. You weren't wasting anything. You were investing in survival. Every single bit of your energy, both physical and mental, was being used for the most important mission there is, staying alive. That's not something to be ashamed of. It's a profound testament to your resilience. So let's flip that old, tired script. For so many people who have survived trauma, your real life doesn't start in your teens or 20s. Your real life starts the moment your nervous system finally feels safe enough to come out of hiding. And you know what? For a lot of us, that happens after 30. This isn't an ending. It's the true beginning. Okay, so if that time wasn't wasted, why does it still hurt so much when we look at others and feel like we're behind? Well, that pain is all about comparison. So let's unpack why that whole comparison game is just completely broken for survivors. I mean, this is the question, isn't it? It's the one that keeps us up at night. You look around, you see people with their careers, their houses, their families, and the space between their life and yours can feel like a canyon. It's so easy to feel like you've failed somehow. But here's why that comparison is totally invalid. You weren't running the same race. It's not even close. Think about it like this. They might have been running a marathon, sure, but you were running a marathon with a backpack full of stones. Stones made of other people's pain, of pain for their mistakes, of healing from wounds that you never even caused. So let this really sink in. You are not behind. You just ran a fundamentally different and, frankly, a much, much harder race. The strength and endurance that took, that's something to be honored. You made it through. This brings us to a really important place. If we can't use the world's yardstick for success, then what are the real achievements of a survivor? We have to completely redefine what success looks like to include all of the incredible, invisible work you've done. Let's start here. You have developed a kind of self-awareness that most people won't find in their entire lifetime. This isn't something you read in a book, it was forged in fire. You had to learn your own triggers, your own needs, your own patterns just to get by. That knowledge is a superpower. That is a massive achievement. And remember, when you said you are your only support, you said it like it was a bad thing, but it's actually another incredible achievement to build from nothing an internal system of support, to become your own cheerleader, your own protector, your own loving parent. That is a powerful act of creation. And this might be the biggest one of all. Teaching a nervous system that has been stuck in fight or flight for years how to feel safe, how to rest, how to just be. That is a monumental, life-changing accomplishment. You can always get a job or a house, but a nervous system that has learned to trust the world again, that's priceless. So what does this all mean? How do we put this all together? It really comes down to one thing: giving yourself permission to throw away the world's clock and start honoring your own. It's all about arriving on your own time. And it's so important to reframe what you're doing right now. This focus on self-care, on getting your energy back, that is not a pause from life. For a survivor, that is life. It is the active, courageous work of living, especially when you were never taught how to live in safety. So I want to leave you with this idea, a new mantra, maybe. I'm not late. I arrived when I was ready to be here. You're not behind. You've survived an incredible journey, and you've just made it to the real starting line with more wisdom and strength than you can imagine. You arrived exactly on time.